So in the last class, we were discussing about what is meant by indifference curve. Okay, so actually, if you see under the approaches to consumer behavior, we have law of diminishing marginal utility as one topic, and the other topic is indifference curve. Okay, law of diminishing marginal utility, it states that after each and every unit of consumption, your marginal utility will get decreased. Your satisfaction level, it will get decreased after each unit of additional consumption. So that has been explained under law of diminishing marginal utility. It comes under cardinal approach actually. Indifference curve we were discussing. Here you will be having a combination of two goods. Here we are taking only two goods and you are going to find out that each and every combination will give you the same level of satisfaction, equal satisfaction you have to arrive here. So you have to keep your combination in that way so that each combination will give you the equal satisfaction or same level of satisfaction. And then we were discussing about the assumptions of indifference curve and we have moved to budget line. Okay, so this only we were discussing. So if you see in law of diminishing marginal utility and indifference curve, we didn't touch about the income of the consumer. You have kept income of the consumer as constant. You were discussing only about the utility, the maximum satisfaction you get from the two commodities. But in case of budget line, it is otherwise known as the price line. Here, you are going to consider the purchasing power of the consumer. Okay, so with this limited income, how he is going to buy the two commodities or two products and he is going to get the satisfaction out of that. So that has been explained in budget line. So we were discussing about the budget line. So this is the graph for that. Okay. So if you see that these all the combinations of two goods. Okay. So two products, any two products you can pick out. Okay. So it can be biscuit, milk or some other food items like that. So with that income, it can be even pen, paper, pencils, all those things also you can take. So you are taking here two products actually here. So two products you should spend, you should allocate your money on these two goods only. Okay, so it is an assumption. Okay, so you are going to pick only two kinds of products and you are going to allocate your budget, your income, whatever you have in your hand, 100 rupees or 200 rupees. So you are going to spend only on these two goods and you are going to have in such a manner that it falls within 200. 200 is your limit. Your budget constraint is 200. So you should not go beyond that, beyond your income level. Okay, so your purchasing power is restricted to 200 only. So you have to allocate in such a manner that you spend on both the goods. Okay. So on both the goods, either you can spend or on a single product also you can spend, but your limit, your budget constraint is restricted to 200 only. Okay, so this is the possible combinations. So you have to give a table. Okay, you can pick out any two products so that you are spending. So if you see in this thing, so if you don't spend on cream biscuits, then you can spend on plain biscuits for that 50 rupees. So per packet is if 5 rupees means, so if you are buying 10 packets means constitutes 50 rupees. So similarly, if you see one packet of cream biscuit, if you are buying means it becomes 10 rupees actually. Price into quantity. Okay, per unit cost is 10 rupees actually. So if you are buying one packet, so 1 into 10, it's 10 rupees. So here then you can buy only 8 packets of plain biscuit, which cost rupees 5 per packet. Okay. So 8 into 5, 40 rupees actually. So 10 plus 40, 50 actually. Okay. So like this, how you can spend, how many units you can buy from the product X and how many units you can buy with that amount, remaining amount with that product Y. So like this, you can pick out the combination. So if you are buying 2 packets of cream biscuit, of which is 10 rupees per packet, then 2 into 10, 20 rupees. So balance left out is only 30 rupees. Out of 50, you have only 30 rupees with you. So now if you are buying 6 packets means at the rate of 5 rupees, so 6 into 5, 30. So 20 plus 30, again it constitutes 50. So like that, you are going to spend on 2 products. Either you can say no to cream biscuits and buy fully of plain biscuit, or fully of plain biscuit and cream biscuit, plain biscuit no, and cream biscuit you can buy 5 packets. So or else you can have a combination of both these, so that your total cost, it should not go beyond 50 rupees actually, because your income is restricted only to 50 rupees. You have your budget constraint for 50 rupees only. You cannot spend more than that. Okay, so that is the budget line. So this is the graph for that. Using this thing, you can plot accordingly. Okay, so you can plot as per this. So if you see 0, 10, 0, 10, and then 1 for 8, like this you can plot 2, 6, and then 3, 4, and then the combination 4, 2, and then 5, 0. So this is the budget line or the price line. So anything spent beyond this is your income is not supporting you to buy. Okay, anything which is falling below this line is that you are not utilizing your full income. Okay, you are not using your full income to that extent. Whatever you have fixed 200 your or 50 rupees, whatever might be, you are not using to the fullest extent. Okay, so here you are not going to consider anything. You are going to consider only the 2 products here. Okay, so your assumption is you are going to choose only 2 products, and you are going to spend on these 2 products only, and then you are not going to consider about anything other thing, like your savings or investment. Nothing you are going to consider. With your income, how you are going to allocate your money on these 2 products. Only that thing you are going to consider under the budget line. Okay, so remaining left out portion, savings, all those things you are not going to consider here. Whatever the money you have in your hand, you are going to allocate on these 2 products. Okay, so you are going to show the combination in that way. Okay, so features of budget line, if you see, it is negatively, it always slopes negative, okay, towards downwards, because it there is a inverse relationship between 2 goods. And then it is always the price line, if you see, always it will be a straight line. Okay, so straight line will be your price line. And then here you are going to consider your income as the main aspect. Okay, so what is your purchasing power? With your purchasing power, how you are going to allocate your money towards 2 products. Only that you are going to consider under the budget line. So previously we were discussing about law of diminishing marginal utility, everything, where income we didn't consider as the main aspect. Only utility, the benefit you derive from the 2 goods, all those only we discussed from the indifference curve approach. But under the budget line, you're going to fix a target, or you're going to with your income how much you are going to allocate your funds, because our income, salary, whatever we have, it's limited, so we have to allocate only between these 2 goods. So this is the assumption. So your purchasing power and your income is known through this budget line, and it is always tangent to the indifference curve. The indifference curve will meet the budget line. So that point is known as consumer equilibrium. That has been shown under consumer equilibrium also. So if you see, so this is the consumer equilibrium point. So equilibrium point means what? So it is a point at which we know we don't have any more. So we have reached the maximum satisfaction level, so we don't require any more consumption. So that is the point which is known as consumer equilibrium. So if you see in this graph, we have taken two goods, goods X and goods Y. Okay, so two products, it can be any product also. So this Q point is known as the consumer equilibrium. This the point we are reaching the maximum satisfaction. So we don't want to consume anymore. So we have got ultimate satisfaction and we don't want to have still more. So we are not having urge to have some more unit of consumption. So that point is known as consumer equilibrium. Okay. So if you see this straight line, it represents the price line actually. And this Q point is known as the consumer equilibrium. So on having OEM goods X of goods X and ON of goods Y, so you are reaching the equilibrium at point Q, and this line is the price line, and these curves are known as the indifference curves. Okay, so in yesterday's class I was discussing about the indifference curve and indifference map actually. So indifference curve means if you have only one curve, then that is known as indifference curves. When you have many number of curves, indifference curves put together, that is known as indifference map actually. So if you see here, so this is known as indifference map actually. So here if you see, these are the possible combinations which give you the same level of satisfaction. Okay, so a set of indifference curve is put together known as indifference map actually. Okay, so these are the various possible combinations. Indifference curve IC1, IC2, IC3, IC4. So if you see the curve which is IC1, will give you the lowest level of satisfaction. These are the possible combinations of two goods. Okay. And it will not touch the x-axis or y-axis, either x-axis or y-axis. The indifference curve will not touch here. So, and if you see here, so this indifference curve, low indifference curve, it gives the lowest level of satisfaction to you. And the curve which is highest, no, that will give the highest level of satisfaction. Highest indifference curve will give you the highest satisfaction level to you. So that has been represented here. So IC1 is the lowest indifference curve and lowest satisfaction level you are getting. IC4 is the higher level of satisfaction you are getting due to highest indifference curve. Now this is with this only we are drawing the consumer equilibrium point. So these are the indifference curves. Okay, this point is your equilibrium point where you are achieving the maximum satisfaction level. So below this or beyond this point, you are not going to have the maximum satisfaction, and your income will also not support, and many aspects will be there. So this is the prices what you pay for which you are getting the maximum satisfaction only at this point. So here you are going to take only two goods again, and you are going to find out the satisfaction level where it is peak actually. So that has been explained under consumer equilibrium. Okay. So as we discussed in under the budget line, one which is beyond this you are spending more, it means, and below this also you are not putting your income to the utmost level. And features of budget line we were discussing, it will always slope downwards, and if you see here you are going to consider your income and purchasing power only. Okay, and then it is tangent to the indifference curve. It is a point where indifference curve meet the budget line. This point is called consumer equilibrium. So that only we discuss right now here. Okay, so this is the point which we attain the equilibrium. So this is will be your price line. This will be your possible combinations of two goods, your scale of preferences. Your scale of preference actually it is the indifference curve. Okay, so you're going to give a ranking so that you're going to get a you're going to get a maximum satisfaction from both the goods. Okay, same level of satisfaction you are going to attain. So the price line, this one, this is the point of equilibrium. Okay, so we have discussed about the features of budget line, and moving to the assumptions of budget line. So under the assumptions of budget line, you are going to take only two commodities here. Okay, so in indifference curve also we have taken only two goods, and budget line also we are taking only two goods. And since our income is very much limited, our financial resources are not supporting enough, so we are going to take only two goods here, and you are going to allocate whatever money you have in your hand only on these two goods. Okay, so you are going to spend either one can be more and one can be less. So the combination of that, or one is very high and one is zero. So like that you can allocate only between these two goods with your income, whatever you have it in your hand. Okay, so here you are well aware about your price of the goods, everything. Okay, so biscuit packet or milk, whatever might be. So the two goods price is well known to you. So the consumers are very much aware about the price of goods. So he is going to allocate his funds on these two goods. Okay. Expense is similar to income. It is assumed that consumer spends and consumes the whole income. So the entire income, whatever you have in your hand, that 100 rupees or 200 rupees, whatever might be, you are going to allocate the entire amount towards your expenditure. You are not going to consider any other thing, any other aspects like saving, investment, nothing you are going to consider here. You are going to allocate whatever you have it in your hand. You are just going to spend on two goods. So all these are assumptions. And why there is always a shift in the budget line happens. Okay, so normally why a budget line will shift either upwards or so it may if you see this budget line, it may either move rightwards or leftwards. Okay, so if you see why this shift will happen in the budget line, so this is our price line, budget line. Sometimes the budget line will get shifted to rightwards or leftwards. Why it happens? So if you see why it happens means due to change in price. Sometimes yeah, even with that income, no, if you want to allocate between two goods also, certain two goods, if you take for example goods X and goods Y, okay, or any products you can take, apple, oranges, or any product you can take. If the price of one is rising means he will be normally what human mentality will be there. He will be reducing the consumption of that product. Suppose if apple price is raising means, and orange price is going to remain constant, that time what he will be doing, he will be reducing from 4 units, he will start consuming only 3 to 2 units. But he will be orange he will be starting to consume more at that time. So even due to change in price, the budget line may shift. Okay, so towards leftwards or towards rightwards. Okay, so this happens due to because of price. Changes in price. Even though the price of one is increasing, other one is, even though it is constant also, because his purchasing power may not support. Okay, so his purchasing power may not support to buy apple there. So what he will be doing, normally he will be reducing the consumption of apple, and he will be consuming more of oranges or mangoes, whatever might be, bananas, whatever might be. So this is the due to shift may occur due to change in price. Shift may occur even due to change in income. Okay, due to income also the shift may happen. So if you see the price will sometimes even it will remain constant. Price of apple per kg, suppose if it is 100 or 200, whatever might be. So even that price, if it is constant also, if your income is changing, okay, so your income is changing means your purchasing power also automatically it will get increased, it will change, right? So even due to income also, your change in income also, your spending capacity will change accordingly. So if I think apple is more nutritious or something like that, I can consume more apple, and I can spend more on apples at that time. Okay, so I can even reduce oranges or mangoes, whatever might be. So like this, even due to change in income, the shift may happen in the budget line. So these are the changes, because why the budget line, either it moves towards rightwards or towards leftwards, can happen because of changes in price of the product, even though my income is constant at that time. Okay, so anyhow I'm going to spend only 500, but even then I might if there is change in price of one commodity, I may reduce the consumption of that and I can move to the other one. So my combination can be in that way also. So due to price changes, one reason, and due to income level changes also can be the other reason why there is shift in the budget line. Okay, so this has been explained. So you must be knowing what is meant by budget line actually. Okay, so budget line, if you see, with you are going to consider your income and your purchasing power here. Based upon that, you are going to allocate your money, whatever you have in your hand, on two products, two commodities only you're going to allocate, so that you're going to get a maximum satisfaction out of that. So you have to provide a table for that and a graph for that. Okay, and a price line where it shows all the possible combinations A, B, C, D, E. One which is below is that you are not going to utilize full of your money you have, income you have, and behind that point is your is that your spending capacity is very much limited, but your expenditure, whatever you plan, it is more like that. Okay, so this is your budget line table graph, and you have to give out the features and what are its assumptions actually. Okay, and shift in budget line, why it happens actually. Okay, either it can be due to a change in price of one commodity, because of that your combination will get changed, your budget line will get changed, or even due to change in income of the consumer. So your purchasing power, if it is changing also, your budget line will tend to shift. Okay, so that has been explained in shift in budget line. And moving to the other part, this is also an important term, MRS, marginal rate of substitution. So marginal rate of substitution, if you see what it explains means, it's like a opportunity cost only. Okay, so what opportunity cost in economics actually tells about, if you have because of limited resources, because of scarcity, you are going to allocate only on two goods means. So if you see here, if you want to consume more of one goods, then you have to lose the other good. You have to go consume less of other goods. Okay, so yeah, you in opportunity cost also you'll be having alternatives. So from the alternatives, if you're going to choose one, the other one you have to forego, the other one you have to sacrifice, right? So similarly, under marginal rate of substitution also, you're going to, if you're going to have two goods, okay, so if you're going to consume more of one good, then you have to lose or sacrifice or reduce your consumption level of the other good to some extent. So that is known as marginal rate of substitution. So if I want to consume, already I'm having a combination of apple and oranges or apple mangoes, like that, any product. So if I want to still more consume more of apples, four more apples, then I have, for every four more apples, I have to sacrifice or lose one orange at that time. So like that, in order to get the equal satisfaction, same level of satisfaction, here I am going to consume more of apples, and I am going to reduce my consumption, reduce 1 unit of oranges there. So that is known as marginal rate of substitution. Here consumer, they are willing to increase their units of one product, so that they are going to lose the other product. They are going to have their consumption pattern in that manner. Okay, so already we know that only the combination, it consists of two goods only. So if you are going to raise the consumption of one product, then automatically you're going to reduce or sacrifice or lose 1 unit of the other product. So such is known as marginal rate of substitution or MRS. You can name that. Okay, so if you see, we are moving to consumer equilibrium. So already indifference map means what I explained to you. Okay, so if you have a separate curve, so that is known as indifference curve. When you are getting the summarized of all the indifference curve, that is known as indifference map actually. Okay, so you're going to have only two goods here. So these are the various possible combinations. Okay, the single combination is known as the indifference curve. A set of various possible combinations, if you are bringing out, that is known as indifference map. So highest level of satisfaction will be your IC4, that is highest indifference curve, and lowest level of satisfaction is your IC1 curve. Okay, so lowest indifference curve. And consumer equilibrium means what? Consumer equilibrium means with your income, with the price that has been prevailing in the market, with that price, how much you are going to spend on the two commodities and how much satisfaction you are going to get from the two commodities. So no more consumption. So if that point is known as your consumer equilibrium. So you don't want to consume anymore. That status, that stage is known as the consumer equilibrium. At what point you reach a consumer equilibrium means at that point where you don't want any more to consume. You are not having any more urge to consume either of the two commodities. Then that point is known as consumer equilibrium. Okay, so this is the consumer equilibrium diagram and you will be taking two goods here. Okay, so two products you will be taking together and this point is your consumer equilibrium point and this will be your price line. These are the indifference curves. Okay. So what is meant by consumer equilibrium? So the maximum satisfaction at which point you are reaching. So that point is known as the consumer equilibrium point. Okay. Say for the price you pay, the income which you have in your hand, based upon that the price you pay for the commodity. So based upon that only you can achieve your consumer equilibrium. Okay, so the price or the cost that we give for a product and the benefit we derive from that product, the satisfaction that we reach from that product, that makes you to achieve the consumer equilibrium actually. Okay, so why we consider this consumer equilibrium, all those things, because as we discussed earlier, all the consumers are rational. Rational means they want to get maximum satisfaction. So for the price I pay, okay, so the cost I incur, the benefit should be more actually. So this will be my tendency actually. So we always need the maximum satisfaction or the benefit from the product. So it should be put into best possible use. Okay, so 100% it should give me satisfaction for the price I pay. Then only I can reach the consumer equilibrium because usually every person's mentality will be in that way. Okay. So why consumer equilibrium is important? Okay, so because the people's taste and preference is getting day by day changed. So they want to get maximum benefit out of the products they consume. Either it can be a single commodity or two or more commodities. So it should give me a maximum utility. I should derive maximum utility from the product. So that is the importance of consumer equilibrium. Okay. So these are the assumptions of consumer equilibrium. So you must know what is meant by consumer equilibrium. Okay, so meaning of consumer equilibrium, at what point you derive the maximum benefit. So you don't want any more consumption. Okay, so that point is known as the consumer equilibrium and you must give a graph for that diagram and you must explain about the assumptions of consumer equilibrium, why it is important. Okay, so why it is important? You should derive maximum utility or benefit out of that product. Either it can be a one product or a mix of two products. You should get the, with your income, you should get the maximum benefit out of that. So that is the importance of consumer equilibrium. Till this, any doubts you have?